For me, it was a very quick decision. I wasn't planning to start studying Gestalt anytime soon. I knew Gestalt from I was doing an introductory psychology course, and during which I got taken through like all the different modalities of therapy, psychology, or whatever you call it, and including like the scientific base, like the CBT, and the more humanistic based modality like psychoanalysis and all the other things. And then when I was kind of learning it, when they started to kind of introduce Gestalt, I was like, yeah, that really resonated with me. Like, because I come from like an Eastern background, just the whole idea of holistic and body-mind connection, and awareness and like focus on the present, it just like align with who I am and align with the culture that I come from. Yeah, it just feels right to me. Yeah.
So Gestalt for me at the beginning was more like a philosophical concept, and yes, it's very aligned with a very Eastern, like Chinese culture. So all of the concepts that Ming talked about, I also felt it. And so at the beginning, I was amazed and attracted to the philosophical ideas, concepts. But because I was also doing the counseling course, I really want to know how do I use these concepts? How do I apply these concepts to the counseling practice and to my own life? And so I came to the discovery workshop, and I experienced how these concepts are. Like, it was experiential learning, and I felt this power, that how it is not just a concept, but you can actually practice it. You can feel it. I can feel it in myself, and then I made my decision to join the course. So it's from concept to experience, that kind of journey. Yeah.
The first thing that comes to mind for me is inclusivity. I felt really welcome. I wasn't excluded from any trainings. I didn't need to have a degree. Just my interest in learning alone was eligible to get me in the door to pursue further learning. So I didn't feel excluded. That kind of opened me, that helped me to step a foot over the threshold to wanting to learn more. And then as I got to know the community, yeah, I felt really welcomed. My unique perspective was welcomed. There wasn't some kind of subset. I didn't feel like I had to conform to belong. Yeah. And it took me a few years. My story is probably a bit different, and it took me a few years of really wanting to study Gestalt and doing dribs and drabs of training modules before I actually committed to undertaking the training as a psychotherapist. Yeah.
My journey has been different, but it hasn't been as unique as I might have imagined. I did the math once in our first year cohort, and I think there's like 17, and you're one of them, 19% of the group are engineers who've just burnt out doing engineering stuff. And for me, I burnt out really severely. I devoted the last 10 odd years of my life to technologically augmented systems change, and in the process of trying to change the system and bring down the master's house with the master's tools, I basically got chewed up and spat out by the the friendly face of the techno-fascist industrial complex that is now fairly figural in the world in Gestalt terms. Then when I moved to Melbourne 2 years ago now, with my partner who she got a job down here at the Mercy Women's Hospital, and I had my own reasons for coming to Melbourne. And I went to a GP and tried to find a somatic therapist, and they were hard to find here. And he recommended the Gestalt Centre, and I started seeing a then third-year student there by the name of Natalie, who was hands down and still is the most brilliant therapist I've ever had in my life. And 2 sessions in, she said to me, "Hey, I think you might be kind of good at this." And I was like, I was not in a good place, and deep in my trauma still, and I'm like, well, don't really buy this. And then cut to 8 months later or something, and okay, maybe I buy this a bit, and I signed up for the course, and now I'm a year in, and it has been completely transformative.